Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favorite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. If you love the idea of leaving corporate, leaving retail, leaving hospitality, leaving the 9 to 5, or whatever hours you're working, and you really want to start your own business and work for yourself, but you don't know what kind of business to start with or what to focus on, then you are going to find this episode really, really inspiring and really, really motivating. A very good friend of mine, one of my absolute favorite people in the world, Serena Edwards, is here with us today. She is the founder of Elegantly Empowered, and her whole business is about inspiring women to leverage their strengths and use them to uplift themselves and others, no matter what they've been through. And I'm really, really excited to have her on the show because so many people talk to me about how they're thinking of starting a business because there's a gap in the market, or because they think this thing will sell well, or they've noticed a trend and they want to get on board. And yes, there is logic to that, but in my experience working with hundreds of predominantly female clients over the years, we tend to burn out when we're not doing something we're passionate about or something that gives us purpose. When we are doing something that lights us up or something that we feel called to do, the business landscape changes for us. The work is easier. The sales tend to flow better, and we connect with the right people at the right time as long as we're following the very simple business rules of do what feels good and don't give up. And I'm most inspired when I see people creating a business that helps other people, because I'm really, really interested in things that are going to make the world a better place. And I'm really, really interested in hearing how those businesses got started and what inspired the business owner to begin. So that's why I'm super excited to have Serena on the show today. I know you're going to love what she has to share. So welcome, Serena. I'm so excited you're here.
Thanks for having me.
It's so fun being on a podcast together because we have been friends for years. We have literally been friends. I don't even know how many years now. How many do you reckon it's been? At least 7, right?
Yeah, I was going to say 10. Yeah.
It probably is 10. I'm trying to think, thinking in age of like how old our kids are, like trying to add up all the numbers that way, because we've known each other for a really, really long time. And I think it's really interesting because we have, like, I think as women and as business owners and as people, we have grown during those years and been able to kind of watch each other and help each other through those different phases of our lives. And to have that support, really, it's kind of like I got to be part of your business before you even officially turned it into a business. So I was a very, very lucky first timer. So yes, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. So this is going to be such a fun chat. I feel like we're just hanging out together. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. So let's officially begin. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about Elegantly Empowered and how you help people? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so at Elegantly Empowered, I am on a personal mission to empower women to embrace their worth, boost their confidence, and step into their positivity. Through my coaching, I guide my clients on a transformative journey, including uplifting their mindset, cultivating positive self-talk, and practicing gratitude. Together, we create a life of joy.
I love that so much. And I follow you on Instagram. I'm a bit of an Instagram stalker of you. And you do the most amazing videos. What I love most about Elegantly Empowered is you accept people for who they are, where they're at, and your aim is to inspire and uplift and motivate and build resilience and have them being a lot more positive. And so when you do a little snippet video, it's like a minute of you talking, some of your videos. It's like they're this little snippet of my day that makes my outlook on my day better. And as a result, because it's influenced how I'm thinking about my day or thinking about any situation that I happen to be in, because you have this knack for putting out videos that relate to something that's happening with me. I don't know how it happens, but I love it. And so I watch it, and then it affects my day because it affects my thoughts, and that affects my actions because when I feel better about myself, I take action a lot better. And yeah, I find it really powerful. So if that's happening to me, I can just only imagine what's happening to other people out there. So it's a very exciting thing.
Thank you.
So how I think let's talk about starting a business based on something you're passionate about or based on something that you feel is your purpose. Do you want to give us a little bit of a background of how Elegantly Empowered came about and what gave you the idea to start it?
Yeah. So having overcome the hardships of an abusive relationship and navigating a difficult separation and child custody battle, I just there's a period of hitting rock bottom, and then there's a period of finding your inner strength, your resilience, who you are. And through the strategies that I now share with my clients, I had to rebuild myself, and I came out not just a survivor, but a conqueror. And this fueled my determination to help women out there who might not fully understand their self-worth, or who want a bit more confidence, or who want, that little bit of joy in their life. So I took the steps to become a certified life coach, and I've specialized in women empowerment. And, as I said before, I'm on this mission to uplift and empower others. And I'm guided by an exceptional mentor. And I'm committed to making a positive impact and fostering a community of empowered women.
I love that so much. I think one of the most powerful things that women can do is share their experiences and lift each other up. And I think that no matter what's going on in our lives, there's always going to be good times or good things that we can touch on. And there's always going to be a challenge or a hurdle. And I think something that a lot of people tend to default to is to think, okay, once I get through this, I'm going to do something good for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I've learned over the years, especially with, say, having a family, for example, or running my own business, or just getting older in life and having your priorities in life change, there's never a time when all of the hurdles are done, right?
Yeah, never.
Yeah. Yep. There's never a time that we're completely unchallenged. It's always like we're putting out little fires and we're good at doing that, but then another one pops up and another one pops up. And I think when you and I talk about stuff like this, one of the really helpful things that you teach is it's not about waiting for a time when a challenge doesn't come. It's not about fixing all of the things so that everything is fine. It's about who are you as a person so that when these things come up, how are you going to handle them? Who are you in how you handle them? How do you role model to your kids? How do you show up for your friends? But how do you show up for yourself as well? Because I think we have a tendency to automatically do a lot of negative self-talk when we're going through the trenches of something difficult.
It's about who you are and how you're handling that, not letting your situation handle you, or not placing your identity into that situation. It's, I like to really talk with women about that separation from our circumstances, and that's how we overcome them.
Yeah, I love that. Creating a business out of something that is really your passion and your purpose is something that I think a lot of people would want to do. But actually doing it is the hurdle for them because they don't actually know how to take their experiences and their insights and their knowledge and the pathway that they've already been on and turn that into something tangible that they can sell, for example. How did you, like, what gave you the idea to turn your experience into a business, and how did you do it? Like, what was the first couple of things that you did? I think people would love to hear how your business evolved.
Yeah, so I think the first step is finding a mentor, someone who's doing what you would like to do, or someone who can help you with that. Then I personally, budgeting is really important to me. Empowering women with their finances is really important to me. So I've created this budgeting spreadsheet. It helps you budget and track your finances really easily. I put all the algorithms in there so you don't need a bookkeeping background to use it. And then I set out on creating a course so that I could share my wisdom and knowledge with other women. And I've created a Facebook group. So I've started building that community of empowering women.
I love that. Your Facebook group is really quite engaged. For a pretty new Facebook group, you get quite a lot of engagement in there. You do lives in your Facebook group, right?
Yes, I've started lives, and I absolutely love the group. I love these women, and they engage and they talk and they encourage each other, and I just love seeing it. Yeah.
I love that. And I really like that your business is all about, like, because life coaching is a big thing and people tend to think it's broad, but it doesn't actually have to be. You can specialize in different areas. So for you, specializing in empowerment, but also using your background with numbers, you're a big numbers person, aren't you? In terms
Yes,
of,
I
yeah. Whereas I'm not at all. The very first time I heard the word spreadsheet, I was like, oh, I hope I never use it again. That's why when you put algorithms in your spreadsheets, I'm like, fine, I'll use them. I'll use them. But yeah, to be able to use your experience with bookkeeping as well in the past and turn that into a product that actually empowers women financially, for me, that was a big light bulb moment of here's how you take something you're good at and you use it to create something that you can sell that can help grow your business, but also something that's really going to change the lives of other people. So it's really, really valuable to them. And it's really, yeah, it's worth their investment. It's worth their time spent on using it. It makes change for good in the world. And I think that's a really good example of that. So that's really, really cool. Find it very inspiring. So I know that business isn't always smooth. We tend to share highlight reels, especially on the podcast. I always get guests on who are amazing guests, and we always talk about what's great for them. But sometimes I really wish I had asked a lot of my guests, all right, now tell me about a couple of things that went like wrong, or a couple of things that were hard, or a couple of lessons that you might have learned as a business owner, because a lot of our listeners here on the podcast are people in their first couple of years of business, right? So they're experiencing hurdles or challenges, or they're learning lessons as they go, but they think they're the only ones that are doing it. So is there any lesson about running your business that you'd like to share with us that you've experienced?
I think the biggest lesson that I have probably learned is the importance of self-belief, which is funny coming from a life coach. But when you're not going to make any strides if you've got that self down. If you're talking yourself down, you're not going to take the step. You're not going to overcome the challenge, right? Because you're telling yourself that you can't do it. So when I started to believe in myself, I made huge leaps, not just in my personal, but also in my professional growth. And now I have my own business. And when we take steps forward and we believe in ourselves, when we come up against challenges, because we all do, we're going to push through with that resilience because we know we can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love when you said when we come up with challenges, because we all do, because that's the thing I think a lot of us forget. We see everybody else seems to be sailing through things. We have no idea that they're going through stuff as well.
Yes.
They're learning as they go. We're all winging it to a certain extent, right? How many times, I don't know about you, but when I sometimes meet people, say, for example, who I've followed online, and I'm like, I love what they do. I love their social media. I love their newsletter. I love their products. And then I meet them, and then we'll be talking one day and they'll be like, oh yeah, I was totally winging it when I was doing this. I'm like, what? You do too? I wing it too sometimes. I'm so glad I'm not the only one. So yeah.
Yeah. Or hearing that they're nervous. I think that helps me feel better. I'm not the only person nervous.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel better about that stuff too. Or hearing if they've made mistakes and survived, if somebody's tripped over while they're on stage speaking at an event, or if somebody, like me, for example, I uploaded a podcast episode a couple of months ago. I think it was with Lauren Colson. So if anybody's listening, sorry, you can't hear it now because I fixed it, but you might have noticed about 15 people listened to the episode, and it was the uncut, unedited version where at the start I even count down 3, 2, 1. And then I said, "Oh, Lauren, can I make sure I'm pronouncing your name right?" Like all those things that I normally do. That was just out there in the world on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. It took me 2 hours to realize. And all I can remember thinking was, thank goodness only 15 people heard it. And I haven't promoted it or anything yet. And so when I share that, people are like, oh, okay, well, now I feel better about anything that I've stumbled on or that I haven't done yet and feel like I should know and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's why I find your business such an appealing one is it's all that stuff. It's all of that. No, we're going to share our experiences. We're going to help each other. Here are the different ways we can do it. The whole community is getting involved with each other. They don't all have to rely just on you. You're there you're building something bigger than one person. And I'm really, really impressed with that.
Thank you.
So what have you got coming up next for Elegantly Empowered in the next year or so, 12 months?
Yeah, I've got some exciting things on the horizon. Really excited. Aside from my private coaching sessions, in the Facebook group that we've already touched on, it's called Elegantly Empowered's Women's Positivity Group. And we've just kicked off 2024 with a month of positivity. We're getting quotes, we're getting challenges, we're doing lives, we're all up in there, and we are keeping the momentum going. So it's not too late to join us. I will also be releasing my podcast, Coffee with Serena Edwards, where I will be sharing inspiring and empowering conversations with women that hopefully will leave you feeling motivated and uplifted.
I love that.
And I've also developed a 6-week course called Step into Positivity that I will be launching very soon, ready for enrollment. And this transformative course has been designed specifically to support women on their journey to increased confidence and inner positivity.
Oh, I love that. So if anybody's struggling with that negative self-talk or feeling like you've been dealt a terrible hand in life and there's nothing you can do about it, or feeling like you can't get out of whatever is tough right now, that's the course for them, right? Because it all starts with you. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's a big year coming up for you. So I'm going to make sure that in the show notes for the episode, I'm going to put a link to your Facebook group because I think people can join that straight away. They're going to love it. And then I'm going to add a link to your course, if that's okay with you, when it launches.
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're going to add a link to that. And then there was something else. Oh, you've got a freebie to share with people. Can we talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So it's called Elegantly Empowered's 5 Tips for How to Show Up Even When You Don't Want to. What inspired you to create that? Because that's a really good name.
Well, I was just sitting there, actually, honestly, I was having a moment where I didn't really want to show up that day, right? Had it, did not want to show up. And I just thought, how am I going to turn out? What's going to motivate me to do that? And then out of that came these steps. I thought, well, maybe I should make something that I can share. So because I'm sure that I'm not the only person that has trouble turning up sometimes. And yeah, it's about, even if you take a little step, that's something, right? We don't have to stop. And, I'm 100% of meeting yourself where you are. So if you need to lay in bed a bit longer, if you need a cup of tea, if you need a shower, if you need, that's okay. Mm-hmm. But then we want to make sure that we're taking even just a little step.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you built it based on your own experience, because I think that's what makes your business and what you do so relatable. Is you're like, okay, well, here's what happened to me. and here's some stuff that helped. And now I'm going to share that with people. And I like that it keeps it simple too, because I'm all about keeping it simple, right? So it's not overwhelming. There's not a ton of stuff. It's not like this, it's not like the 75 hard challenge when it comes to like fitness and stuff, right? Where you're like, oh God, I can't climb another mountain. I know I want to improve, but I just don't have the energy. Like your stuff is doable stuff. It starts at bite size and grows from there. And it's enough to get you. I love the way you deliver your learnings, whether they're on video or if they're in written resources. You have this knack for saying them in a way that makes people go, oh, okay, well, yeah, I could give that a try. Like that's not huge. I could probably give that a go. And then they get the benefit from doing that. And then that gives them the energy and motivation to take the next step. And so it's like rolling a snowball down a hill. That's not really the metaphor I was going with, but you know what I mean? Like it's like building.
Ripple effect.
Yes, the ripple effect.
Ripples. Yes.
Perfect. Yes, the ripple effect. So if you would like to experience this ripple effect, everybody listening, I'm going to make sure there's a link to Serena's freebie in the show notes as well, and your podcast too, because I think if you're enjoying this conversation, you're going to want to hear more of them, especially with Serena's guests who are all going to have like just a slightly different take on what's happening in life. And I think, I really love that, is that when you hear people talking about their own experience, you can relate to a lot of it, but you also get a different perspective at the same time. And often that can be the change factor when it comes to building resilience. So I'm super excited to hear those views when you have them, those coffee chats when you have them ready. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. I have had so much fun chatting, like officially work chatting with you today instead of just regular chatting. I hope you've enjoyed being on the show too.
Thank you for having me. Yes, it's been a lot of fun. Not panicked at all.
You did really well. Before we started recording, everybody, I was like, I bet my cat Bob jumps on the table and walks in front of the camera. And if he does, we're going to go with it. And he didn't at all. So I'm like, well, it's when you've got good guests, things go smoothly. So yeah, I have had a ball chatting with you. And everybody, if you've enjoyed this conversation as much as I've enjoyed having it, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You can go on over to Spotify and hit follow and give us a 5-star rating. Or you can head over to Apple Podcasts where you can subscribe, rate, and review. I love reviews because it gives you the opportunity to tell me if we're talking about topics that interest you, and if we're not, what you'd like to hear about. Like, what do you love? What would you change? I really like getting your feedback because I want to make sure that these episodes are really helpful for you, because I know that you've got a lot going on in your day. I know you want to simplify your business, and I want to make it easier for you. So yes, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Click through on the show notes to get those great resources, and I will see you all in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.